Tractate Beitzah, Talmud Bavli, Tractate Beitzah, page 38a, top of the page, with the words V'havinan ba Maishna Likan Ulikan Dila to Aim Brera, etc. And we discussed the following difficulty with regard to this teaching of Io. What is different about the case where two rabbis are coming to the two locations, one here and the other there, and one places two Eruvin, planning to decide on Shabbat which lecture he will attend? Why did Rabbi Yehuda state this may not be done? It is because he held that there is no retroactive designation. But if so, in the first case as well, where only one rabbi comes, but the location of this lecture was not known before Shabbat, and one placed Eruvin in the east and the west, we should say that neither is effective because the rabbi's location will not be known until Shabbat, and there is no retroactive designation. And Rabbi Yochanan said in explanation that this first case is referring to a situation in which the rabbi had already arrived before the Eruv was placed. But the one placing the Eruv does not know the rabbi's location. Therefore, it had already been determined which of the two Eruvin would be effective, although it was not yet known to him when Shabbat began. Apparently, then, Rabbi Yochanan does not accept the principle of retroactive designation even in matters of rabbinic law, as he states that if the rabbi were to arrive after the Eruv was placed, it would not be effective retroactively. Rather, the Gemara rejects this approach and states, actually, do not reverse the views of Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehoshua. It is indeed Rabbi Yehoshua, also known as Rabbi Oshaya, who accepts retroactive designation, and Rabbi Yochanan rejects it. As for Rabbi Oshaya's statement with regard to the entrances to a house that contains a corpse, the following answer may be offered. And when does Rabbi Oshaya not hold of the principle of retroactive designation with regard to matters of Torah law, such as the ritual purity of the dead, but with regard to matters of rabbinic law, such as Shabbat limits and the placement of Eruvin, he does accept this principle. Mar Zutra taught in a public lesson, the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Oshaya with regard to retroactive designation. Shmuel said, an ox of a fattener, one whose occupation is to fatten oxen in order to sell them for their meat, is at the feet of all people. It is at the feet of the one who acquires the animal on the festival, even if the buyer is from another city, as the fattener's intention when the festival begins is that the ox belong to whoever buys it. But an ox of a shepherd who raises oxen for himself, but occasionally sells them to his neighbors or acquaintances, is as the feet of the people of that city, as his intention when the festival begins is that he might sell the animal to someone in town, but not to someone from out of town. The Mishnah states, in the case of one who borrows a vessel from another on the eve of a festival, it is as the feet of the borrower. The Gemara asks, it is obvious that this is the case, as the place of rest of the vessel has already been established in the possession of the borrower. The Gemara answers, no. It is necessary to state this halakha in a case where one did not deliver the vessel to him until the festival itself. Lest you say, since the lender did not establish it in the borrower's possession before the festival began, it should remain as the feet of the lender. The Mishnah therefore teaches us that it is not so, but it is as the feet of the borrower. The Gemara comments, interpreted in this manner, the Mishnah supports the statement of Rabbi Yochanan. As Rabbi Yochanan said, one who borrows a vessel from another on the eve of a festival, even if he did not give it to him until the festival itself, it is as the feet of the borrower. It is taught in the Mishnah, if one borrowed on the festival itself, it is as the feet of the lender. The Gemara again wonders, this is obvious. The Gemara answers, no, it is necessary to state this halakha in a case where this borrower is accustomed to borrowing such items from this lender. Lest you say that since it is a regular occurrence for this loan to take place, the lender establishes it in his possession ahead of time, and it should therefore be considered as though the object's place of rest is established as the feet of the borrower. The Mishnah therefore teaches us that it is not so, as the lender certainly says to himself, perhaps he will find someone else this time, and he will go and borrow from him. Consequently, the lender does not transfer possession to the object to the borrower until the latter takes it, and it may be carried only where the lender may go. It is taught in the Mishnah, and similarly, a woman who borrowed spices from another to put in a dish, or water and salt to put in her dough, these are as the feet of both of them. The Gemara relates, when Rabbi Abba ascended from Babylonia to Eretz Yisrael, he said, may it be God's will that I say a statement of halakha that will be accepted by my listeners in Eretz Yisrael, so that I will not be put to shame. When he ascended, he found Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Chanina bar Papi, Rabbi Zera, and some say he found Rabbi Abahu, Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, and Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha, and they were sitting and saying in a discussion of the Mishnah, why is this halacha with regard to dough? Why is this the halacha with regard to dough? Let the water and salt be considered nullified in the dough, and the status of the dough should follow its flour rather than its minor ingredients, such as water and salt. Rabbi Abba said to them,